but love and mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called, never left a man behind. We move as one, is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part, this upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance, only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you on a Sunday night. Got some gremlins in the audio department. I gotta go run those down. I don't know what's up with that. So my apologies for that. That was not how my normal intro sounds. Oh, that was terrible. I just butchered Tom. Poor Tom. All right, so thanks for joining me. You've come to the right place. We've got a lot to talk about. So grab a beverage, a nightcap, whatever, a blankie. Sit back with me. We're going to talk about a winter storm coming our way, which unfortunately has got a lot of nastiness with it, as they usually do here in Oklahoma. So it's a mixed bag. It's not going to be just snow. Matter of fact, probably very little snow, and should be more in the way of a sleet storm and, yes, a freezing rainstorm. So we'll call that a nice storm and just combine it all into two. All right, well, out there currently, of course, things are quiet. You wouldn't know things were on the horizon. Or would you even know that severe weather may return tomorrow just because it's been so nice today? South-southeast wind about 12 miles per hour and about 57 degrees here in my backyard. So it's pretty nice on my Tempest weather station. You can get one too. Just hit the promo code at the top right on that QR code. Scan it with your mobile device and get you a little discount if you'd like to get one. Several of you have. I hope you are enjoying it. So now let's get on with the details. Oh, by the way, before I do that, on Facebook, I'm going to post the link. Many of you are having trouble getting notified when I go live and getting that in a timely fashion. So this little shortcut will work you through that process. Make sure you hit manage messages ever so often. I think you can get about 2 or 3 goes at it before you have to hit that button, or you will no longer get notified. It's like an opt-in service. So make sure you do that so that way Facebook knows that you're still interested in hearing from me. Otherwise, it'll cut you off. And Facebook is ruthless. So there you go. All right, let's go on into the headlines here. All right, so we've got, obviously, our winter storm we're going to talk about. The impacts here already being highlighted from the National Weather Service, and this map will change quite a bit. This is just the early stages, and so that's what we're going to be focusing on here in just a moment. But first, temperatures out there today were great, 60s and 70s. Tomorrow will be more the same, and because of that moisture working in, we do have a slight risk of severe weather here across Oklahoma, North Texas, and Arkansas and Missouri. And if you will notice, that yellow area turns to this little brown shading. That's for a tornado threat across western Arkansas and same areas here in eastern Oklahoma and far northeastern Texas. A little bit of a wind, hail threat as well, both in the shaded area. Close-up view of that from the National Weather Service just barely puts Oklahoma City in the marginal risk of a thunderstorm. Otherwise, a slight risk continues from Ardmore to Ada on into eastern Oklahoma. You see a very low potential for tornadoes, golf ball size hail possibly, and winds up to about 60 miles an hour. These are kind of marginally severe. I don't expect anything to get too out of control. The tornado threat is down here. I would actually probably back this up a bit right into this region. Seems to be on the model data. We'll take a look at here in a second for the hot spot of a potential tornado tomorrow night. And that risk will continue on into eastern Oklahoma as we head into the overnight hours. This will be a late deal again, which is great because it's off hours. I know you're going, great, we don't want tornadoes at night. Well, that's true, but when it comes in like this at night, trust me, it's a way better scenario all the way around for the magnitude of severe weather. And we want the less amount of severe weather we can possibly get with any system. So this is good news. Otherwise, we do still have a low risk of a tornado in here, along with some hail and some gusty winds. Now, what's going to kick all this off? We're going to look at some upper level energy. I've already had focused this through Monday afternoon. And what's going to happen is you see the bright colors on the map indicates lift in the mid levels around 700 millibars. You will notice the cold front lighting up like a Christmas tree. And you also see down here in southern Oklahoma and northwestern Texas also getting a lot of lift. So that's what's going to cause those showers and storms to get going. So you can kind of envision the cold front in this area along that region, and then you can envision the nastiness of the thunderstorms kind of in this region. The most lift you get, the most instability, the stronger the storms. And that is through the midnight hour. Here's about 3 o'clock in the morning. And here's 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see everything's kind of winding down and moving on out. So it's a very short period for storms here, and it's a last-minute ditch for moisture. Dew points in the 30s today. You will notice the green wave coming out of Texas and the Gulf of Mexico surging northward into our day on Monday afternoon. So dew points get back into the upper 50s here in central Oklahoma. Into the 60s down south. You need dew points into the 60s, get some severe weather for sure along the Red River and points south and north from there. But you can also see, as we hit to Monday night and Tuesday morning, watch what quickly happens. The dew point does surge to Tulsa, but if you look here, boom. See those dew points drop into the teens and single digits? That, my friends, is a taste of Arctic air. Anytime you get dew points in the single digits or lower, that is an Arctic air mass that is invading your neck of the woods, because that is some very dry air that comes in, all right, with the system. Okay, so that's kind of how things are going. When we factor in the instability with that, we call it CAPE values. We overlay the shear with it, and honestly, the best area I can see for a potential tornado is right about in this area for the late evening, early to about 1 o'clock in the morning, say from about 9 p.m. to midnight or 1 o'clock. And there, if we do look, there is a little bit of a slight potential for a tornado, and the shear profile looks pretty decent, pretty a nice photograph. So models call it a marginal tornado risk, which means it's not a high one, but it is there. So if something were to happen, that's where I would kind of position it. And that little round of instability, as we said, it only lasts to about 1 o'clock in the morning down here in southeast Oklahoma, and the shear goes to garbage. So in other words, the shear is only good for a few hours. So it's a very limited time to squeeze anything out. Now this is what it should look like ideally in the model data once we get things going. Probably about 8 o'clock. We should see some showers and thunderstorms here developing in southern Oklahoma and northwestern Texas. Those will transverse along the Red River. You can see this looks like a little bit of a helicity track, indicating the models favor this area for a supercell type thunderstorm with the potential for some large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even a tornado. And that would continue through 11 o'clock. And then it's got one last hurrah, same area, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Then that shifts eastward. As it heads toward the McAllister region, south there, Pittsburgh, but that will be falling apart. There's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, just a line of storms at that point in time, and things kind of winding down at 4 and 5, but still some helicity tracks in here, maybe a little bit of leftover hail. Hail size, the most I could see in the model data was about 1 inch to 1.25 inches in diameter, so it really wasn't all that big. Which is good news. So the magnitude, again, should be pretty low. And if we look at what they call helicity tracks, in other words, the spinning motion within the storm that's capable of producing that kind of stuff, you can see how they're confined down here along the Red River, that sweet spot right around Ardmore, and then points north and east from there to about Fort Smith. So that's your most likely area of a potential tornado for tomorrow night. While, yes, the majority of you are sleeping. So make sure you have your NOAA weather radios going. Make sure you have your weather apps, AT's Weather to Go. You can download it from Apple and Google Play, and it will warn you of a tornado approaching before one even develops. It actually has predictive algorithms to let you know that one is coming. That way you can protect yourself. Rainfall amounts very good within this. It's going to be quick. It's a lot of rain in a short period of time. Models are anywhere from 1 to maybe as much as 3 inches of rain. We are in a drought statewide, so it's still going to get soaked up pretty good, though, even though it can sometimes lead to brief flash flooding. Some of the models aren't as gung-ho, and some of them kind of drift back to the west. So the placement's a little questionable overall. If you were to blend them all together, though, majority of the rain is going to be along the I-44 corridor and points south and east from there, which means Oklahoma City and Tulsa don't expect a whole lot of rain within the storm system tomorrow night, but probably just enough to kind of get things wet. All right, that takes care of the severe weather risk and the water. Let's talk about the frozen water from the atmosphere. So look at the jet stream pattern. We'll track the storm system coming in off the Pacific Northwest. And this is all the energy wrapping up here across the west. You can see it was spiraling around, and then it starts to come eastward across the Rockies. So the center of the upper low is right about here, and we are in what we call a southwest flow aloft in the jet stream pattern, and that overrides cold air at the surface, and that sets up the typical pattern for precipitation, and usually in the form of icy precipitation as well. Now here's the deal, this is different than other systems. This low will not dive southward and then come across, it's just going to come all across to the east. Now, typically, what that means is we have a lot less precipitation overall, but we have a longer period of lighter precipitation. So it's an event that can sneak up on you versus just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So that's kind of how this pattern is laid out. When we get into the specifics on this, let's do that next. We have to look for some Arctic air, right? Because we've got the pattern. Now, do we have the cold air? So let's take a look what happens here. Look at all this cold air just diving southward out of Canada, right here in Oklahoma. That's nasty. We have actual air temperatures into the minus teens and minus 20s in the source region of this cold air in southern Canada, and that's dipping us into the teens as we head into Wednesday morning, and that freezing line gets all the way down to Dallas-Fort Worth. So yes, you're watching from Dallas-Fort Worth by Wednesday morning. Expect a little bit of light freezing drizzle at that point and some light freezing rain and sleet with you guys as well. Now, if we look at the mid-level lift with this, we try to time it out. I'm going to start you at Wednesday. Let's see, let's go Tuesday, or here's Wednesday morning. Okay, so we're going to go Wednesday morning right around daybreak. All right, you see all the colors? That means lift in the atmosphere, and it's over a widespread area of the state into North Texas. Now, that's the lift, but you still have to generate the precipitation, so sometimes there's a little bit of offset of time, could be a few hours. So the earliest probably maybe like around 9 o'clock to get precipitation going, and by lunchtime. So the timing at this point in time for me to tell you on a Sunday night, the exact hour and minute, not going to happen. I can give you the ballpark. I think by 9 o'clock it should be ongoing by that point in time, just based off the lift here in the atmosphere. But there's noontime, and that lift gets much stronger. You saw the bright red on the screen. So that's cranking it out. And as we head into the afternoon hours, that lift continues on into eastern, northeastern Oklahoma, still continuing across the body of the state. And then we've got more that develops west and southwest of us on into Texas that continues to move through as we head into Thursday. So this is a very long window of light precipitation because the lift doesn't stop from this upper level storm system. So we break that down into what you can ascertain. Again, there's a heavy rainfall for Monday night. And to Tuesday morning, moving off into Arkansas and Missouri. So again, some thunderstorms for you guys as well. Cold front's already moved on in, cooling us down. And then there's the model starting to show that lift transforming and blowing up into some freezing rain and sleet. Now, models will try to do a pretty good job here at isolating where the freezing rain will occur, which is western Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, north Texas, just north and west of Dallas. But the purple indicates a lot of sleet, maybe some heavy sleet at that. Right now, the models are keeping it light here in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. That's good news if we can keep that going. I don't necessarily buy it, but that's good news if this were to be the outcome. That would keep most of the heavy icing down to the south and east of the I-44 corridor, which is very similar. We had that last system, right? So here in the afternoon on Wednesday, still going to beat the band down here in this darker purple shading of the darker red. So a good winter storm is underway here for Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. So those areas just getting slammed. Tulsa can still continue to get that sleet stuff moving through. As we head into the evening hour, that starts to wind down. A little taste down there in Dallas. And as we head into Thursday morning, look what happens. We're already starting to blow it all back up here in North Texas. And that will expand here into Oklahoma as we showed you how the lift continues in that region. Now, we talked about the models are going to be a little tough right now at this point in time at triggering the exact start and the amounts and the best location. But you can see at least some signals here by lunchtime over central Oklahoma of some sleet around, and there's more of it as we go through the afternoon and evening, especially across northeast Oklahoma. It's where all the purple is on the screen. And then it's very, very light. So this particular model has things on the light side, which I'd be great if it was all light. I just don't quite trust it because we're still early in the forecast period. Now, if we go to look at the European model, which does a pretty good job overall at winter events, especially ice storms, it breaks it up into a category. I did this on the blog. I kind of drew a line in the sand at where I thought most of it would be sleet versus freezing rain. So I'm going to do that for you right about here. And this is the first line. There's some wiggle room here, so don't hold my feet to the fire on a Sunday night for a Wednesday afternoon and Thursday line, because it's going to move just a little. But right now, this would be the majority, and we're talking probably 90% of the precipitation in this area would be sleet. You're going to get a little freezing drizzle, maybe a little bit of light freezing rain mixed in at times throughout the entire event, but it's going to be mostly all sleet. Whereas down here, this is going to be mostly freezing rain. Now, freezing rain means ice accumulations, which means power outages. So you can imagine, like we had the other day, I say the other day, it was a couple weeks now, power outage will be more likely down here in southeast Oklahoma. The exception or the difference maybe is by the time that event was all wrapped up, said and done, most of the accumulating ice of about a ½ inch was kind of in this region here. This time around, it looks like it's going to be more in this area for the harder hit areas, McAllister, maybe Muskogee, that kind of deal. But fingers crossed, knock on wood, we keep this mostly sleet here, which does mean that the power outages should not be a problem here in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. If it turns into all freezing rain, that's a different outcome. Now, we're looking at snow with this system on the backside and a little bit of light flurry activity on Saturday. But when you factor all that in, this is about the most I've seen. This is a model blend of the snow out there, so it's not going to be a big event when it comes to snow. We'll get a little taste on the end of it as it's over, but that's going to be about it. This is mostly an ice and frigid temperature situation. So by Wednesday morning, air temperature of 18 degrees here in Oklahoma City. That should get your attention. And again, all the way down south into Dallas, you guys should be right about 32 degrees. When we look at the wind, which will still be gusting up around 20 to possibly 30 miles an hour, once again, during this entire event, it's going to be windy as that cold air blows in. And you factor that in with the temperatures, we're looking at wind chill values on Wednesday morning, 2 degrees. There's -2 in Enid, -1 in Ponca City. So that's how things ought to be for the meat and potatoes of this thing. Now remember, the cold front will start to come in tomorrow night. So let me just back up here. So I'll show you what, tomorrow is going to be nice. We'll probably be back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, it's going to be a great day, just windy out there, fire danger probably out in western Oklahoma. And then here comes that front that moves through by Tuesday morning. And then we kind of rebound in temperatures a little bit for Tuesday afternoon, maybe back into around the 40-degree range. And then the secondary surge of Arctic air comes in as we head into Tuesday evening, and that's when things just go downward from there. Now, I will say one more thing. On Tuesday, and this is where I'm going to show you this guy here. All right, so I'm going to show you Tulsa first. Vertical look at the atmosphere. All right, I'm going to show you the take home is all you need to know. This goes from the surface where you live up to around 15,000 feet. So the first wave, which has all the rain, some thunderstorms with it, is here. All right, this is on Monday night, midnight. When you get to Tuesday morning, this is when that cold front comes in. There is some low-level lift and moisture trapped within that frontal boundary layer, which could squeeze out a very, very light, tiny bit of freezing drizzle. Or maybe freezing little light raindrops. All right, the point I'm trying to make is when that cold front passes by, it might be just enough at the sweet time, at the sweet spot to cause some slippery roadways for maybe bridges, overpasses, that kind of deal. So Tuesday morning, just be careful in case that becomes an issue. Now that's not only in Tulsa or even Oklahoma City, it's pretty much anywhere where that front is passing through. It's a low probability event, but just keep in the back of your mind. Then on Wednesday, this particular event here, right now in the early look at the model data, does show mostly sleet for this event here for Tulsa. So that's some good news for you guys as well. Trust me, you always want sleet over freezing rain. Oklahoma City, same kind of idea. Potential for a little bit of that light freezing drizzle with the passes of the cold front Tuesday morning. Otherwise, by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, it's got a lot more dry air with it here in Oklahoma City than it does Tulsa. So it has a little bit of lighter precipitation here overall for Wednesday. So it's not going to be a huge accumulating event, at least probably at the very beginning. It's going to be one of those that sneaks up on you. We just kind of gradually get more and more, and so it means roadways go downhill. Of course, the crews will be out, but as those temperatures are in the teens, it's hard to overcome that and warm that up. Now, if it stays light enough with those winds blowing, that should help to evaporate at least some of it off the roadways. It's one of those deals, you're just going to have to be careful and time things and check out conditions before you leave. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Meanwhile, for Dallas, just real quick, you guys, you'll have the front moving through Wednesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning we talked about, and then you've got a little bit of a taste of some light freezing drizzle, maybe light freezing rain and some sleet mixed in for your event for Wednesday into Thursday. Probably just enough, again, to cause some problems on the roadways, but I don't foresee any power outages like that for you guys either because the amounts look to be light. Okay, so there's all of that temperature-wise. we mentioned front comes through Friday night. So that means these temperatures here on Tuesday fall. So this is probably a midnight temperature. And then we'll probably be in the upper 30s to near 40 or so for most of our Tuesday. Very cold, obviously, Wednesday and Thursday. And even these numbers have a chance to be wrong. In other words, we could easily be in the teens to upper 20s. Does not necessarily have to warm up that much. It's a pretty nasty front. Models will always underestimate Arctic air. So I do expect these numbers to come down once the models finally realize kind of what's happening. And then, depending on how things go on Saturday, with a little bit of light snow that might move through with some flurries, definitely some cloud cover, we may not even get above freezing statewide until Sunday. Some of us may still be below freezing through Saturday. Now, as I mentioned here, when we do have the inclement weather or you do have concerns about the road conditions, go to my website, aarontuttle.com, go to the weather data tab, scroll down, you're going to see multi-state road conditions. So I'll put the road or the soil temperatures on there for you. I've got the Oklahoma snow routes where they would treat the roads. And then I've got the Oklahoma road conditions map. And this will come in with colors and pictures that you can click on. It'll show you where the roads are slow, closed, etc. Same thing for the traffic cameras. You can click on those and get the video feeds to find out how things are moving. Same thing for Kansas. You want to check that out. As you head on out, you can make any of these pictures larger. And then same thing for Dallas as well, especially if you live there in North Texas. You want to make sure how your roads are doing before you head out or go anywhere that you may have for plans. All right, that was a lot to get through. So most of you hung in there. I did as fast as I could. It was about 20 minutes long, but it is what it is. It's funny. There's enough to talk about severe weather that long, much less a winter storm that long. So here's the plan. If you're way late, here's your 30-second update on what you need to know from this point forward. I'm going to be doing updates right around about 11:30, 45 or something like that. No, I won't. I got a business meeting tomorrow. Just remember that. I will not be doing a live at lunchtime tomorrow. Okay, so that's out of the question. But tomorrow evening at 9:30, I will. So join me then. We'll discuss what's happening with the latest with the severe weather and, again, what the model data will be looking like as far as how to move the fine line on where the sleet and freezing rain mixture will be. And then we'll get maybe a better idea on amounts overall to see if it's going to be kind of a light event or a heavy to moderate event. Right now, the best probability for power outages in southeast Oklahoma. But travel problems here along the I-44 corridor thanks to the sleet. And then that would start early Wednesday morning. I'd say probably right now, I'm just guessing about 9 o'clock. And then that first wave moves through into Wednesday night. But the second wave kicks right back in behind it for the new wave that comes in on Thursday morning before you even get up. And that'll be all day Thursday, and that ends Thursday night. So that's the window for the system. Like I said, it's mostly an ice deal. Get a little light snow on the back end of it. The bigger story may even be, for some of you, the cold. And I mean, this is going to be our coldest air mass so far this season. It's not here one day, gone the next, unfortunately. It's the perfect pattern for it to sit here and just fester through the weekend, and eventually on Sunday it looks better. But I will caution you, for my blog, 3 weeks back now, we're in a pattern for the second part of February. It looks pretty cold, and then March itself looks very unstable. So cold shots, maybe followed by some quick warm trends, followed by some cold shots, and sometimes in March we can get our best snowstorms. We have a lot more moisture to work with, so if you want some winter weather, fun stuff, some snow, if you're a snow lover, maybe things are looking favorable for us on that period, but we'll see. It's a long ways out. But needless to say, that's what's coming our way this time around, and that's what I've got to say to you. I'm trying to think of anything else. By the way, I see you guys sending me some stars tonight, so I always appreciate that. Let me look at a couple of your comments, and then we're going to turn you loose. All right. And you guys are going nuts on YouTube, so thanks for all the chit chat. Look, Jody's got you squared away. She's my better half, and it's good to have her, man, on this thing because she can answer questions and help you guys out. So I like the Team Tuttle approach. So she does really good. Helps me out. All right, let me take a look here on Facebook. So you're asking about school cancellations, Carlin. It's a good one. They won't make that call until Tuesday afternoon, more than likely, or Tuesday night. So that's when that'll come out. And honestly, they'll depend. They'll watch me and the other guys and the weather service. They watch everybody, and they'll make a call as to how much precipitation is expected and the timing, and then go from there. Steve, you got it. Let's see. So if I know some of you are going to have some appointments this week, and you're wondering about canceling them, if you know. I always say wait till last minute before you have to do anything in the weather world, because sometimes things can change. I don't anticipate anything significant changing as far as this overall event. It's just the only thing now we're going to massage the actual amounts and positioning. That's really the only thing left to do. Now, because it's not a case where it's not like the cold air is not coming. All right, that's impossible. It's an Arctic high that's coming down from the track that it is. You can't stop it. Nothing will stop it. And then you have the upper track of the jet stream pattern. We're not having to hang our hats on the exact position of an upper low, all right, because it's not that type of a setup. It's a southwest overrunning setup. So that doesn't matter either. So historically, it is what it is. And this was seen in the pattern last week. I think we talked about it on Wednesday. So it's not like anything's changed since Wednesday, and today's Sunday. All right. Believe it or not, these are actually easy patterns to recognize, and sometimes you get a lot of heads up, a lot of warning that in a situation like this is coming. So it always irks me when some of the weather community will wait till the very last minute to finally put out a forecast. I'm like, what are you waiting on? Have some testicular fortitude. You gotta put your head out there and say something. You can't say, "Oh well, it's too early to say." Isn't that your job to say? So yeah, I laugh about it on the back end, just so you guys know it's so ridiculous. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I mean, you got to eat it. But how about you do such a good job that you don't be wrong? I will say, though, there's always something that will try to sneak in at the last minute, usually in these deals, and try to mess you up. But so far, I mean, overall, you can get pretty, detailed in the overall generic frame. It's when you try to get super detailed this far out, that's when you're asking for trouble. Like, you can't promise, exact start time. You can't promise Tulsa's going to see only sleet only, not a single drop of freezing rain. So you can't make those kind of calls. That's suicide. But what you can do is say generic area. Historically, it's always this. The model data right now suggests that, and so my forecast goes with this. And then I'm going to massage a little bit north, south, east, or west as we look at the new data that comes in every day. That's it. That's how you do it. It's real simple. So anyone that says, "Oh, I can't make a decision now," well, get out of town. Run them out. All right, that's it for me. I'm just goofing, so don't take anything too serious. We have fun here. Let's see. That's it for me. Like I said, I won't be in noon for lunchtime tomorrow, but I will do a lunchtime live probably. I hope to Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. That's the plan. I need my emoji face. It just goes. Because I think that's my plan anyway. But I'll definitely be on the evenings at 9:30. That's always I can assure you on that one. It's just sometimes during the day, it depends on what I got going on. That's when I can make that happen. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. Again, thanks for your love, support. Making sure you like and share this video. Make sure you sign up to get my notifications. Tap the bell on YouTube, Twitter. Sign up to get notifications on Facebook. You can do it. Sometimes it'll tell you, sometimes it won't. If it has trouble, hit my little link I've just posted. That way you can get a direct notification from me. And we'll do all this again soon. You guys have a great night. Sleep well. Have a good President's Day for those that are off. And we will talk soon. All right, take care.